Pyrrha and Deucalion. Back in the age of the Bronze Men, when Zeus ruled the world, he heard terrible things about the people living on Earth. So he decided to walk the Earth in human form and see for himself. But everywhere he went, he found that the rumors weren't even close to how bad things really were. One evening, as night was falling, he arrived at the palace of Lycaon, the king of Arcadia. Lycaon was known for being cruel and wild. Zeus gave clear signs that he was a god, and the people around him knelt and worshipped him. But Lycaon mocked their prayers. "Let's find out," he said, "if this guest is a god or just a man." He planned to kill Zeus while he was asleep. First, Lycaon killed a poor hostage who had been sent by the people of Molosia. He boiled part of the body, roasted the rest over a fire, and served it to Zeus for dinner. But Zeus knew what Lycaon had done and what he was planning. He jumped up from the table and sent fire from the sky to destroy the wicked king's palace. Terrified, Lycaon ran outside. But the moment he cried out in fear, his voice turned into a howl. His skin became covered in fur, and his arms turned into legs. He had turned into a bloodthirsty wolf. Then Zeus went back to Mount Olympus, held a meeting with the gods, and decided to destroy all of humanity. At first, he wanted to do it by striking the earth with lightning. But then he worried that the sky might catch fire and burn up the world. So he put aside the thunderbolts made by the Cyclopes and chose to flood the world instead. He locked up the north wind and all the other winds that clear the skies, and only let the south wind blow. The south wind flew down to earth with wet wings, covered in dark storm clouds. Water dripped from his hair, fog covered his face, and moisture poured from his chest. He grabbed the clouds and squeezed heavy rain out of them. Thunder roared, and rain poured from the sky. The storm ruined the crops and destroyed the farmers' hopes. All the work of the seasons was wasted. Poseidon, Zeus's brother, also joined in the destruction. He told the rivers, "Break free and flood the land, destroy the houses and dams." They did as he said. Poseidon hit the earth with his trident to open up paths for the water. The rivers flooded the fields, tore down trees, temples, and homes. Even the biggest buildings were soon underwater, and the tallest towers got swept away in the current. Soon, no one could tell land from sea. Everything was water. People tried to survive however they could. Some climbed mountains. Others rowed boats over the roofs of their own homes or their flooded vineyards. Fish swam through tree branches. Deer and wild boars were helpless in the flood. Entire groups of people disappeared, and the few survivors starved on hills where nothing grew but heather and ferns. In the land of Phocis, there was one mountain still above the flood, Mount Parnassus. Deucalion, whose father Prometheus had warned him about the flood, built a boat. He and his wife Pyrrha floated to the mountain. No one was more kind or more respectful of the gods than they were. When Zeus looked down and saw only water where the earth had been, and only 2 good people left, he sent the north wind to blow away the clouds and fog. He let the sun shine again. Poseidon stopped the storm and calmed the sea. The waters went back to their places. The rivers returned to their beds, and trees covered in mud began to show. Then hills appeared, and finally the flatlands dried out. The earth was back. Deucalion looked around. The land was ruined, and as silent as a grave. He cried and said to Pyrrha, "My dear wife, everywhere I look, there is no one alive. We are the only people left. Everyone else has drowned. And even now, we aren't sure we'll survive. I'm scared every time I see a cloud. But even if we are safe, What can two people do alone in this empty world? I wish my father Prometheus had taught me how to create humans and bring clay figures to life." He and Pyrrha began to cry. Then they knelt before a half-broken altar of the goddess Themis and begged her for help. "Please, goddess," they said, "tell us how to bring back the human race. Help the world live again." A voice answered, "Leave my altar. Cover your heads, loosen your clothes, and throw the bones of your mother behind you." They were confused by this strange message. Pyrrha was the first to speak. "Forgive me, goddess," she said, "but I can't do what you ask. I don't want to disrespect my mother by throwing her bones." Then Deucalion had an idea. "I think I understand," he said. "The gods would never ask us to do something wrong. The earth is our mother, and her bones must be stones. We are supposed to throw stones behind us." Even though they weren't sure, they decided to try. They covered their heads, loosened their clothes, and threw stones backward over their shoulders. A miracle happened. The stones started to change. They softened, grew, and took shape. At first, the shapes were unclear, like rough statues just starting to be carved. The soft parts of the stones became flesh, the hard parts became bones, and the veins of the stones turned into human veins. Soon, thanks to the gods, the stones Deucalion threw became men, and the stones Pyrrha threw became women. That's why humans are a tough and hardworking people. They remember where they came from.